Alright, so hello everyone. There's a bit of house cleaning to do today. What I'll be doing in this video is actually continuing a bit on what was made in the previous video, Angular Lesson 1. So I'll be calling this Angular Lesson 1 Part 2. So one of the first things I'll be bringing up is the secondary way to use components. So yeah, we have our component 1 here. Remember, we have our class and everything. We have our template URL, we have our style URL. But one more thing we have is this right here, a selector. And you might actually remember seeing a selector on our big directive over here. And if you remember what that was used for, it was used to attach itself to an element or a tag in the HTML as an attribute. So in C2 we had used @big as an attribute. So a component is actually a type of directive. So just like this big directive, it has a selector. And then the way you can use that selector is that you can actually just go ahead in an HTML file. Let's go to the app component, HTML. And let's say instead of routing it, right? Let's say you have a lot of pieces for a page that you'd like to put together. Let's say you have a header, you have a navbar, you have a something or other, right? And you have the selector. You can go ahead and instead of using routing to access that, you can put a page together by combining these selectors. So let me show you. Let me go ahead. Right, so let's see. C1, the C1 selector is app-C1. So let's do it. app-C1, and what happens here? We close it and we hover above it and it identifies it as a component. And that is the second way to render your component into the view. And let me go ahead. Let me go ahead and hop into new window. Yeah. I'm gonna hop into localhost over here. Why is this so tiny? Localhost 4200, and as you can see, C1 appears twice, and that is because one, the routing leads to it in the router outlet, and we also have the selector being used below it. So that is the second way that you can use a component within your HTML. So that aside, actually I should leave that there. So that aside, I discussed a bit of an issue I ran into in the last video with having directives being imported to multiple modules. But the solution is rather simple actually. When you have your custom directives and say your custom pipe, the ideal thing to do is to import those into a particular custom module and then import that to other modules or components that need access to those things, because modules aren't only to categorize components, they're also to categorize information, right, and actions that need to be accessed. So right here in M1 we established using the whole num pipe and the big directive, but instead of doing that, in order to get the whole num pipe and the big directive, what we're going to do is we're going to make another, let me control C to kill this. We're going to make another module, right? Ng generate module. We're going to name it custom module. No, rather custom. Alright, custom module has been created. Interesting. I'm not sure. I am not sure why the folder icon is different. I'm curious as to why, but I won't worry too much about it. Big directive and whole num pipe. Alright, so now that we have our custom module set up, both our M1 module and our app module can access these declarations through the custom module. Now let's see what C2 is saying. It is complaining. Now it should be able to find the pipe and the directive. So what's going on here? Let's see. Because M1 I definitely put the yes. So apparently I only had put them here. Custom module, yeah. And I also put custom module here. Alright, so interestingly enough, what I need to do next is to go ahead and add the exports property. And within the exports property, I need to put my big directive, and I need to put my whole num pipe. Now once I save that, the error on C2 HTML disappears, and as you can see, things can be accessed just fine. So this is how you set up your custom module to share your custom directives and your custom pipes with all the other modules that you need them in, or all the other components that you need them in. Alright, so thank you for watching. Hopefully everyone has found this helpful, and if you find anything lacking, please give me feedback in the comments.